Hey, it's Ranger Russ at the Meigs Nature Center. Very special day today. You can see I'm wearing a lab coat. So today is a science day. We're going to be doing a craft and a science experiment. So I'm very excited to talk to you today about rain. It's a rainy day here at Hammonasset. So we're going to make rain in a jar. And we will explain why it rains. So some of you probably know that. I do want to do my reminders about people washing their hands and coughing into your elbow, covering your face, keeping social distance. We're going to go really quick though, because I just did them. I'll remind you again later. But first thing, safety first. We need our safety glasses. I've got my gloves because we are using some hot water. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat that for you kids out there, you're going to need an adult to help you with this little experiment that we're going to do. We need hot water. So I just heated up this water. So we are going to put water into the jar. So this represents the oceans of the world. All right. About a third of the jar is probably good. Now I'm going to add in a drop of food coloring because this is our ocean and we're going to have a nice blue ocean. Do I have any food coloring in there? There we go. A little bit of blue in there. So the oceans get warm. The sun warms the ocean. And as the sun warms the ocean, the water evaporates up into the air. You can see the steam coming out of the jar. I have here, this is our cloud. And I've covered it up just to keep it. These are ice packs on a plate. So this is our cloud on top of the ocean. So we're going to cover that up so it stays nice and cold. And we're going to move that off to the side and let it do its thing. So the ocean water is evaporating up into the sky. It is collecting in the clouds. As the particles of water gather in the sky, they start to stick together, and that's what creates the clouds. Okay, so right now we have clouds forming in our jar, and hopefully we will get some precipitation or rain. Now I have another thing that we're going to do today. That is, this is a very basic thing of how and why it rains. But we're going to do a little craft. We're going to make our own rain stick. Okay, so you need a paper towel. You need a couple of small pieces of aluminum foil, a couple of rubber bands, and some toothpicks. Again, kids, you need your parents to help you with this because you do not want to stab one of these toothpicks into one of your fingers. Not a good way of doing this. You take the toothpick and stick it through the paper towel tube. If you have something to help it go through, that would be helpful because sometimes they don't want to go all the way through the paper towel tube. Now, after you're done, you're probably going to want to cut off the ends, and you can wrap your paper towel tube in some duct tape or something. Sometimes we use string just to make it look nice and so the little toothpicks don't pop out on you. Okay, so you're going to want to put these, if you can see those toothpicks inside of there, you're going to want to keep them going, not in the same place every time. Just keep going in a circle, randomly, all over the place, toothpicks all through your paper towel tube. Lots of toothpicks. Okay, I have made one already. And then there's one thing I didn't tell you that you should do. After you get your toothpicks in, put your aluminum foil over one end. Make it kind of tight. Wrap your rubber band around it. You don't want it to be too tight because you will crush the end of your paper towel tube. Okay. And now the next step is you need either some pebbles, beads, sometimes we use beans, peas. They all make good raindrops. You drop those inside, and with the one that I've already made, you get rain. Very cool, right? So you can make your own rain stick. Again, you can cut off the ends of your toothpicks, wrap it with something really pretty looking, and you'll have a nice little rain stick. All right. Now we're going to go back to our jar here. And it looks like we get some streaks. I'm going to do this so that you can see a little bit better. All right, if you look in the jar, you see there's streaks of water beginning. The condensation has begun to run down on the sides. I'm not sure if you can see, there's a lot of condensation in there, but there are some droplets gathering up on the top of the plate. That's our cloud. So the more water that gathers in the cloud, eventually that water has to go somewhere. Those particles collect, more and more water sticks together. Hydrogen, oxygen, keep sticking together until finally it has to go somewhere. It becomes too heavy to remain suspended in the cloud and it begins to rain. So this is how we get rain like we have today from the clouds. Occasionally you will see rain without a cloud, and that's just a phenomenon that happens, very rarely. A lot of times there is a cloud in the sky, you just can't see it, and the wind is blowing the rain to where you are, and the cloud that's a bit of distance away is what the rain is actually coming from. We have a lot of precipitation, a lot of condensation coming down the edges of it, and if you can see up there, the bottom of the plate has turned very blue from the blue coloring in the water. So that's really cool. It's not really dribbling like I hoped. I think that the water cooled down too much in between when I heated it up and when I came back to you guys. If we tap on it, see if we can get some droplets. It's really just running down the sides. But this is an experiment that you can do. If you use a smaller jar, you don't need the water to be as hot. So I would suggest using a much smaller jar. Just a simple mason jar will do for that. Okay, so since we did not do our reminders and our introduction because I wanted to get right into this experiment, let me tell you right now, Connecticut state parks are open. And I thought this morning it was a really good idea to remind people that even if you're not in Connecticut, check your state rules. Check and make sure that your parks are open before you visit them. It's really beneficial for the park staff, the maintenance staff, and the law enforcement if you follow the rules. The less contact that they have to make with you, the safer we will all be. So let's help out our law enforcement officers, whether they be parks or other police officers, help them by following the rules. The less contact they have to have, the safer it is. So big shout out to all of our law enforcement, all of our first responders, our doctors. They're all doing the best that they can do. They're going above and beyond, in my opinion, every day. So that's really cool to see. I do encourage people to visit parks. Fresh air, even today. It's a little rainy, it's windy, it's still a beautiful day at Hammonasset. Every day at Hammonasset is a beautiful day at Hammonasset. I like to tell the kids when they come for a field trip that a lousy day at Hammonasset is better than a good day in your classroom because you're just sitting in a room. Here you get to be outside, and I really love being outside. So make sure that you're all following the guidelines for the state parks. If a park is full, find another one because we have lots of parks in Connecticut, all over the country. There are some really beautiful parks, and it's great to get out and get some exercise. Exercise is good for not only your body, but it's good for your mind. If you get out there, get breathing, enjoy some fresh air. I want to remind everyone, we've got a couple of programs coming up. We're very excited. The program for not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday, May 9th, has not even been put on the calendar yet. We will be putting it on the calendar hopefully this evening. But that is an event. I did an interview. I'm going to be doing an interview with Dr. Don Rankin talking about the COVID-19 virus. And I have already put up, I think that's already up there now, on YouTube, Meigs Point Nature Center, on our YouTube channel, you can see a little interview that I did with Don, but we're going to do a question and answer with Don coming up May the 9th at 2 o'clock. You can go, you have to get permission to join the Zoom meeting, so you can pre-register. You can do that from our website calendar. You can also register for our program on horseshoe crabs. Really awesome topic. We're talking about the decline of horseshoe crabs. And if any of you live along the shore, you've probably seen this pretty drastic decline in the number of horseshoe crabs that we have along the coast of Connecticut. Even if you're not from Connecticut, this will be a great event that you can sign up for. Again, you have to pre-register. It's a Zoom event. You can get your number and join the Zoom conference call. So make sure you check meigspointnaturecenter.org. Check our virtual learning center for things like the science experiment and the rain stick and other programs that we're doing. And you can look at our videos, get some vocab lists, things like that. Check the calendar for upcoming events and please sign up. And I'm really happy to continue to do these programs. And I'm looking for a little bit of audience response right now. So if you're watching, and many of you have watched many of these shows, I encourage you to send me your ideas for an upcoming show. So this really just happened because it happened to be raining today, and I remember doing this experiment a long time ago. I thought it was really fun. And the rain stick, I always like to do a good craft, so that was a fun thing to do. But if you have an idea for a topic, if you're a school teacher and you're coming up on a unit on your online learning and you'd like something to follow along, I've already gotten a message that there's a school that wants to do something on adaptation. So we did a Rocky Shore program that covered adaptation a little bit, but we will do another talk about adaptation coming up for that unit. So I would be happy to try and match up what I'm doing with what you're trying to teach your children in their classrooms. So send your ideas, information, anything that you would like to see on upcoming shows. I'll be happy to accommodate you. Again, this is Ranger Russ at the Meigs Point Nature Center. The Meigs Point Nature Center is closed right now. Hammonasset Beach State Park is open. There's probably only 5 people out there today because it's a pretty lousy day, but it's a great opportunity for you to see all of the birds that are migrating into Hammonasset right now. Thank you all for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We will be doing box turtles, and at 2 o'clock, John Himmelman will be reading his box turtle book. I will do an introduction at 2 o'clock, and then we'll put up the video of him reading his book. So I'm really excited to listen to another one of John Himmelman's book. Great author, and it's going to be really fun to learn about box turtles. So I will see you all tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Before we go, let's take a look and see if it's raining in our jar. The water has gotten cooler, and I'm not seeing any droplets, but it's still blue up there. So, all right, any questions do we have up there? Let me take a look if we've got any questions. Every day's a great day at Hamo. I agree with that one. That's why I love working here. All right. I don't see any questions. Hopefully you guys can try this experiment. Try making your own rain stick. It'll be lots of fun. And I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock for box turtles.